my makeup's okay this week for the video. Thought I was a bit pasty.
Pale, yeah.
I
think he's...
Don't know, not sure what he thinks. Maybe he's looking too close and zooming in on me too much. Just keep that Viagra in your pants. Good morning and welcome to our Golf Premier League, sponsored by Neville Richards. We've got our preview and review of last Saturday's games, and I'm Matt Milne. We are missing one today. Mark Hayes hasn't turned up this morning. Not too sure what's happened. He was disgraceful on Saturday's round, and I'm not sure whether there's been something that has occurred over the weekend, but no messages from him. Couldn't even get in touch with him, but yeah, hopefully he mightn't be... Oh, hold on. We've got someone... Hazy, all right?
Oh, Matty.
I know you had a bad score, but what have you done?
What a weekend.
I know the Hawks got smashed on Friday night, but surely this isn't a result of that.
Oh my God. Well, I can't believe it just went from bad to worse. I had a terrible score, I think I heard you just say then on Saturday, but I was accosted after the round. I don't even really know what happened. Did cobble together some video footage from your Pro Shot webcam. I've just been down to the police station and given it to them, so hopefully when they look at it here...
Might find out what's happened.
Yeah, might be able to get...
So is everything all right? Just sore head and sore back?
Yeah, just a bit stiff and sore after... I don't know what happened, it was a bit of a mystery. Maybe we should have a look.
That big fat that kind of that films me all that bloody time. I've had enough of him. Where is he? I'm gonna get that. I've had that with him. There you are, you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get that you.
Jamesy, what have you done?
I got that bastard.
Mate,
He's giving me this.
mate, you had 25 points yourself. What the is going
What's
on?
25 points.
Just get out of here, I'll clean it up, don't worry about it.
I hope he's gone.
Poor bastard.
Jeez, Hazy, what's going on there?
Oh, mate. I knew I had a bad score, but I didn't know it would lead to that.
Wow, who would have thought that the man who's the award's named after is... I reckon he's a bit jealous of you. You might be taking his glory.
Well, I did see he had a 25 himself.
Yeah, well, after his 33s that he'd been having, and he was concerned about not getting anything, but I guess Chris really does love being involved.
No, very good, Chris. Thank you. We appreciate you having a bit of fun with us. More good. Did end up going to the cop shop though, Matty?
Yes, I did. Yeah, you did tell me that this morning. For those who don't know, me and the great man here went and watched the Hawks absolutely have their pants pulled down by the Pies on Friday night, and you had a little bit of extra action this morning, as you realised.
Yeah, the number plates off the car are gone, been replaced by stolen plates off a hot car, so it's been an entertaining weekend.
Wasn't it a good idea to park at the Laverton train station?
Yeah, don't go there. All right, Matty, let's get into it. Enough of my tomfoolery. It was after such an amazing round the week before in round 4, there were a couple of nasty results on Saturday, weren't there? Do you want to go straight into it? Maybe we look at probably one of the closest ones actually was between the Pirates and the Bullies.
Yeah, it was. We had a magnificent autumn day. Scores probably didn't reflect the weather. Had 105 players play with a couple of fill-ins. No massive surprises, as you mentioned, Hazy, but a couple of blowouts there. We had a 5-way count back for the best individual score.
Wow.
The infamous triangle of holes 16, 17, 18 bared its teeth and claimed a number of victims. And as we said, you were a crusader on Saturday.
Imagine Adam Shawcross having to pay money for this.
At least it was only $20.
Almost a dollar a point.
But yes, your form mirrored the Hawks on Friday night, but more to come on that. But yes, the Bullies defeated the Pirates 263 to 255. Both teams had the 15 players. For the Bullies, Choco Royal on 36.
Isn't she on fire?
She has been in a bit of form.
She's really good form.
Always complains about a game, but she's just putting it together nicely. Stewie Anderson had 35, Richard West and Bill Archer on 34, and then we had 4 players on 31 in Barry Doyle, Ross Morland, Phil Stevens and Jerry Raviani. While for the Pirates, Cliffy McCorkle again, 38.
Ever since you corkied him.
Yeah, I know, he's been on fire too.
Yeah.
He's probably nearly the form player of the competition outside of Xavier. Richie Howes had 36. Then we had Steve Gill on 32, Wendy Solahub, Andrew Wooten, Richard Geary on 31, Dennis Wood 29, and then they had some counting scores of 27 of Sue Gregory and Jeff Daniel. But the 8-point margin, it was the closest one this week. Both teams would probably be disappointed with their efforts. 3 players only played to their handicap or better. The AM Pirates come in of Corky, and then there was poor scores by Ando, Richard, Dennis, Sue and Jeff, which ended up being counted, while the Bullies had Stewie Anderson, Bill Archer, Ross Morland. It was left to those PM Bullies that staked the claim, and that was when Choco come in, Richard West, Barry and Richie Howes. But it also came down to the last player on the course, Hazy. Pirates still had a chance with many golfers left.
Yes.
And as we know, Manny has a scorecard, so we can't track how he's going. And there I am sitting at home looking at the scores, I've done the tallies, and Manny needed to have 35 to get the Pirates over the line.
That's very manageable.
It is achievable, isn't it?
Very much so.
And put his card in, and it was a paltry 25. So,
Oh, Manny.
Manny, you let your team down again. The Jamesy Award. The Pirates had 6. You can see why they lost. 25 Manny golfers, and the moniker of the award, Chris James, he had 25. 24 for the very beautiful man, Justin McGrath.
What?
We just put new grips on his clubs and he used them on Saturday, and obviously he didn't like the extra grip he was having, so he's
That's 2 in a row. Shockers for him.
24 for him.
Ooh.
Ken Ladder had 23. Then we had 2 on 20. Sue Holland, just come back from Fiji, obviously left her golf game over there. And John Poe, he was last for the day of all the ones who completed scores.
Wow.
He even lost on a countback to another person that had 20 that we'll get into later on. For the Bullies, there was 2, Rob Casey and Jackie Rowe on 23.
Unlike Jackie.
Very much unlike Jackie.
I did see Ross Morland nearly ace the 17th. I don't know if you saw that in the end, but it was not hanging over the edge. It was pretty close.
I didn't see it, but he did come and tell us 16 times after his round. And even during the round, he came into the pro shop after he played the 18th, because that was on his first 9, and just came in flexing, saying no one's going to beat me.
Ooh,
Yeah.
bit of a head wobble.
That was a big head wobble.
Wow, all right, well, Matty, let's move on. We'll come back to what that means for the Pirates a little later on, but that's they're in early trouble. So they've dug themselves out of holes previously, but they're getting themselves into a pretty good one
It's
right
getting
here.
deep.
All right, the second match we're going to look at is the other sort of arguably close one. It wasn't as close as last week, but the Peakers took down the desperately unlucky Goblins with a really high scoring. This is the quality match of the weekend.
It was, and I told you the Goblins are stiff. They're not that bad. They just keep finding one better.
I've got a ladder that'll tell you different.
Yeah, I know. Peakers had the 12, Goblins had 11, and the Peakers actually were our highest scoring team again this week. This is the second time so far this season they've been the high scorers. For the Peakers, we had David Hutton on 38, Jeanette Johnson 37, Cam Rim O'Keefe and Tommy Morgan on 36, while Norma Vogel and Craig Finnemore 35, Johnny Cross at 32, and then 31s were Nipper Dodds, Pete DeFazio and Dale Pollock. While the Goblins, David Milne was on 38, Steve Smith 36, Joy Francis 35, the Greek god Yanni back from the US, he had 34, and then 33s for Murray Wiley, Brian Bell, Johnny Dixon, and then Kenny Hughes, who filled in for John Bowman. Well done, John. Good selection on having Kenny there, at least he scored, unlike you. On 31, as we mentioned earlier in the Travis Matthew Polo for the best score, we had a 5-way count back and Father Milne was the winner. You did play with him on Saturday?
I did. He was exemplary. Might have had a little wipe on the first, which was his 10th hole, and a bogey on the last, the 9th, his last. Between those, he was absolutely magnificent. You can see his swing here,
It's shocking, isn't it?
No, turn it up. It's pure.
Oh, he's not.
He taught you everything you know.
Oh, just left to right. Him and Mum, they're exactly the same. They've been looking at each other.
No, it was a very impressive round. Unfortunately, these Goblins didn't end up on the right side of the victory.
Yeah.
But no, very nice round. Pleasure to play with him actually.
Yeah. So with those ones with the count back for this, it goes on holes 10 to 18. And of those, David had 21, Mr. Hutton had 20 on the back 9, the Milkman had 18,
Ooh. Interesting.
Corky had 17,
Oh.
and Simon Goggin had 16 on the back 9. So Joel did send me a message on Saturday night just wanting to know who won, or if all players get a shirt.
5 shirts.
Yeah, just how high do you reckon our budget goes, Joel? But yes, only 18 for him. So, but yes, the Peakers had the slight morning advantage with Hutton, Finnemore, Crossett, Dodds and DeFazio and Pollock all having those counted scores, while the Goblins in the morning only had Steve Smith, Yarny, Johnny Dixon count. And as the PM players started to come in, when Jeanette Johnson gave that advantage to the Peakers with her 37, and then Joy, Murray, Ken and Belly added counting scores. Daddy came in with his 38 for the Goblins. Looked a chance.
Yes.
Till Norma with her 35, Rim O'Keefe, and then Tommy Morgan in the last group. That just secured victory for them. Dale does get bragging rights over Yvette. Did hear a whisper there was a dodgy meal on Thursday night.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. Dale does.
No mushrooms?
No, Dale does do the cooking though. So I'm not sure whether he ate his own food or not, but you could say what happened or what could have happened for the Goblins. As you referenced, David Milne, 1 point on his last hole. Mm-hmm. Stephen Smith finishes with 36. Triangle, 1-1-1.
Ooh.
Yarny, wiped 17. But the biggest thing on the day was his hygiene. He stunk.
I heard there was a bit of a smelly sort of
Oh,
situation.
mate, apparently it was horrendous. Even though he was out in the fresh air, he ended up resorting to go and finding some tea tree leaves on the golf course, took his clothes off and was patting himself down and under the arms. He was that bad. Shocking,
I
Yarny.
can't believe we haven't got footage of this.
Well, I did have some footage, but it probably can't be shown in this platform. You know that video I sent through the other day?
Yes.
Probably can't be used.
No.
Johnny Dixon, you wiped 18 and 4. Murray Wiley, good golfer, good player.
Yeah, very good.
Triangle, 1 point on 16, wiped 17 and 1 point on 18.
Oh, geez, he gave me a gobful out there about the pies too.
I bet he did, yeah. As you can see by this photo as well, I was there having a chat to him on the first tee, and yes, he was cock-a-hoop. For the Jamesies, for the Peakers, none again. And for the Goblins, maybe that meal did affect you a vet, 25.
I did, before we move on to the next game, I just did a quick little interview with Rim, who's really taken to his new nickname. Feel free to ask him about it too, he loves it. Just a quick little interview here after his round, because he was a bit nervous that he might have wobbled a bit towards the end, Matty, and cost him.
Rim O'Keefe, big finish from you, 36, and you might have got the Peakers over the line.
Hopefully. I dropped it on the back 9, so if it didn't, I'm sorry, Peakers.
Yeah, man of a few words, isn't he?
He is. He's very just
unassuming, goes under the radar, things that you would think about him.
He's in good form though.
Yeah, he has been playing really well.
Yeah, he loves Rim. Ask him about Rim, he loves it. All right, the third match, Matty. Well, this is where the sort of floggings start to come in. The Warriors just absolutely dismantled the Hookers.
They did. The Warriors had 13 players, the Hookers had 12. How do we say the Warriors? The Milkman back to form after he's 24. He comes in with 38. Boxhead Madden had 36. Then we had 4 players on 34. Jill Barker, Bernie Reed, Matt Davies, Rob Stiegelbauer, Jeff Evans on 33, and then the Sword and Dale Scott 32. While the Hookers, there was 2 on 37, Sue O'Connor and Andreas Belkis. Dean Jeffrey 34. Red Pants McMuffin, he had 33. Nina Ibbotson had 31, and then they had 3 counting scores of 28. Julie Milne, Tim Belitho and David Byrne. So although they were counted, 28 is putrid. But the Warriors, they flexed their muscles with this 19-point win. It was evenly poised actually early with the hookers when Sue O'Connor and Andreas' 37s matched up with the Milkmans, Jeff Evans, Sword and Dale. But when Boxhead come in with his 36 alongside Jill, Bernie Reid, Matty Davies and the Stigs, it was pretty much all over. Left too much for those afternoon players, and the reliable contributors for the hookers of Dino, McMurrich and Ibbotson, they were there again.
Ibbotson, reliable. Never heard you say that before.
No, she's all right now. She's got some consistency in her game. So yeah, she's going really well. We do have Roy
54 11 lead
54 80 metres.
for the Premier League Gurus.
Let's see what the chunk's got. Fair chance this is in the water. Oh, not bad. Oh, short. Drifting back down. Oh, it's safe though. Like, seriously, why would he try and hit it down one?
Did he try to?
Yeah, he does, he tries. Like, just hit it on the fairway, wedge it on and hold the putt. You had 1 point on it again. So it's not really worthwhile doing, and you're not that good a player to do that, Lee. He actually rang me this morning to say he wanted to play golf.
Really?
I said, no, video for Premier League takes precedence, son. So...
Did you sun him?
Oh, I did, I sung him.
I like it.
Sue O'Connor, 37. You wiped your first two holes, which was 10 and 11, and you still finished with 37.
Good score.
Good effort, probably cost yourself the shirt, but the Jamesies for the Warriors, Bullfed, 36 last week,
Yeah.
back to 25. No good, Buff. For the hookers, James Pike on 25, and the ever reliable to put a shit score in, Paul Marnie, 22.
Is he the early favourite to be the
Captain.
goon? No, the goon of the
Oh,
2026 videos.
I would have said captain of the PPP team at the moment, the way he's tracking.
No, he is. Geez, Mr. Pike, he was down on himself. He knew he had a chance. Like he knew he was going to cop it from you too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Well, he actually probably copped it from his teammate McMurrich, because he messaged me on Sunday about the results, and he goes, "Our team is shit house. We're no good. I might not turn up anymore, seeing they don't put in." So,
The only thing that was controversial here, perhaps, Matty, in the end, was maybe somewhere deep in the fine print of the Premier League, people who don't attend more pressing formal engagements are suspect or liable potentially to losing their points, but it didn't really matter because the Warriors were so far in front. But I believe that Jill Barker might have missed an engagement to which she was scheduled.
yeah, well, I'm assuming she must have been preparing for her round, so that sort of takes precedence over work. But
What?
yeah, so
No. Did she know this?
no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she knew that she was rostered to work Saturday morning, but I'm not sure. But she just rolled in and, can you charge my account for my game, and went out and practiced, and yeah. But anyway, that's why I've got big, broad shoulders. I can handle it.
Oh, Jilly. There would have been technicality to be pulled there, wouldn't it? Shocking.
Yeah.
Anyway, another good win to the Warriors. They're on a roll, so that's great. The fourth game, Matty, look, I'm a bit embarrassed about this, to be honest, but I gave nothing to the Crusaders, and the Tornadoes absolutely smashed the Crusaders.
Yes, it was 276 to the Tornadoes. Your team, your selection,
Yeah.
you might be on the money here. Not. Defeated the Crusaders 258. The Tornadoes had the 14 players, while the Crusaders had 13. For the Tornadoes, the Glacier, Simon Goggin, had 38. We had 3 on 36, which is good effort. Lynn Kirby, Darren Wilson and Peter O'Neill. Johnny Leading and Chris Dodds 33, and then Neil Ryan, Matt Miles and Craig Duncanson 32, while the Crusaders, we had Scotty Hopgood and Lee Datson on 36. Johnny Hill again, 33, just keeps putting in 32, 33, 34s. Not sure if he's the new Flanders and looking after that handicap. Bobby Gibbs and Tony Havis had 32s. Cherie Gill 30, Ian Lachlan 30, and Chris Noble, and Colin Isbell 29.
Geez, you mentioned some names there. Lynn Kirby was up and about afterwards. She could barely shut up. It was incredible. She was chirping about her 36.
Really? What?
It was good. It was not in a positive way.
So
and
when
about.
did you see? Was she trying to do that between pressing the buttons on the machines, or was she out spruiking in the clubhouse?
It was a bit of both.
No,
It was all out in the clubhouse.
Yeah, blockbuster match turned into a fizzer, 18-point margin. Match was actually pretty even in the morning, with Hopgood, Gibbsy and Havis equaling Tickle My Doodah, Chrissy Dodds and Malesy. But it was the big guns of the Tornadoes in the afternoon of Lynn, Pete O'Neill and Leading that led from the front. Especially one of them who's copped some grief over the last couple of weeks, and he stood up to show his stature. Then we had the Glacier Goggin. He had 38 points. He was actually 4 under through 9.
Yeah.
34, 6, 7 and 9 and had 22. And then he blew his chance to win the shirt by only having 16 on the back 9. He had bogey 10 and 11.
But I did catch up with him, Matty. He had a couple of choice words for you. We've edited down to this one. 38 points. What'd you think?
Thanks for the rev up, Romy. Thank you, buddy.
How about that? He's
How long's he been talking for? It's either he can't talk or B, he's had about 35 stubbies on the course. Maybe that's why you shot 2 over on the back 9.
No, I'm sticking up for you, Gogs.
I love you, Gogs.
That was a great round, mate.
And
really.
Johnny Leading was proud of you too. But the Crusaders rallied late with Lee Datson and Hilly coming in with Cherie and Lockie, but it wasn't enough to close the margin. One player we might mention here out of the Crusaders probably wouldn't have affected the result in the end, but Bobby Gibbs was 29 points after 13.
Was he really?
With 5 holes to play, he had 2 points. He wiped 14, 2 points on 15, wiped 16, 1 point on 17 and wiped 18.
Oh, Bobby.
I'm not sure how many clubs survived the end of the round, but he would have been filthy on himself.
Jesus had some trauma over on that side of the course in the first few weeks.
I don't know whether he got to the food van and got himself a little stubby to try and celebrate early and he threw up on himself, but yeah, that was a shocking finish. We work into the Jamesies here, Mark. For the Tornadoes, Rob Moorcroft, 24, and then 20 for Barry Marbles.
Barry Marbles?
Ryan Reynolds had 20.
Wow.
It was consistently shite house. He's gone 10 and 10.
Oh.
6 wipes, but you did have a par on the 5th, probably one of the hardest par 3s on the course. Don't know how that works. For the Crusaders, we had a did not finish, Craig Connolly.
What happened?
As we know, he's a paramedic, got called into work, so he had to leave after the 2nd.
Oh, really?
Said he was tracking for 43 though when he got called and had to leave. And
it's good to see at least one of the players have a bit of respect for work, though.
yeah, then Mark Hayes, 23. You come 150 out of 160 on Saturday. You had 9 points on your first 9, you muppet.
Thank God for Barry
Which
Marbles.
was holes 10 to 18. Then you had 2 3-pointers in there.
I had 2 3-pointers in my first 9.
Yeah, so triangle wiped you out. You even birdied the 13th. Like, what's going on? We've got a video of your swing here, a couple of swings that you've made. Like, were you just a bit sore after Friday night, or?
Battered, bruised, emotionally sort of scarred.
Most people, when they do play with Ian Lachlan for the first time, have this result. So it wasn't Lockie on you, was he?
No.
He was on your team, so he should have been supportive.
Well, it was funny because he wanted to beat me for the cash, but he wanted to get me up and about for the Crusaders. So it was a catch-22 for Lockie.
But yeah, no, you were putrid.
Wish I could only aspire to putrid, Matty. That was disgraceful for me, and I apologise to my fellow Crusaders. Especially you, Adam Shawcross.
Yeah, Adam would be dirty when I see him tomorrow afternoon.
But I still have the sheet covered by 3.
Yeah,
so,
you
so
did.
that's, not all of that. Anyway, Matty, that probably covers off the results. Look, I don't want to say too much about the Tornadoes and the Goblins, our pre-season predictions, but one of them's looking pretty sharp here at the moment. One of them, perhaps not so much.
Yeah, true. There hasn't been much change on the ladder. The Warriors, Tornadoes and Peakers all stay in the same position. The Bullies were the big mover from 6th into the top 4. Hookers dropped from 4 to 5 and the Crusaders dropped down to 6, while the Pirates and the Goblins still stay at the bottom of the ladder
I'm a
there.
bit nervous for the Pirates. I just feel the mojo's not there at the moment.
Yes, well, what are they now? They're only 2 games out of the 4, so anything can happen, and this week could have some big ramifications on the games. And there's a big one too, a top of the table clash this week, which will be interesting to see.
I'm liking the Peakers.
Yeah, they're pretty consistent. It's going to be interesting this week because we've got the King's birthday weekend. So it's going to really test the depth of the teams because there probably will be some people going away. Yeah. So as we know, it's the best 8 scores out of your 15. So even if you are missing a couple of players, you've still got enough to have a counted team score anyway. So it's going to really test the depth of some of these sides. And some will sook up too because they'll have players missing.
No, there'll be no sooking.
Oh, no. I should hear some of them.
I dread to think. All right, let's have a look at the preview of round 6, Matty. Firstly, you want to have a look at... this is not last chance saloon for the Goblins, but you can see the saloon from where we're standing. Up against the Bullies.
Can they get over the line? The Bullies are coming off a win, even though it was low scoring, and a number of players were down on form. In particular, Kevin Hudson, Robert Casey. You've only had 1 counting score so far this year. Kevin in particular has only reached 30 points once in his 5 games. John Wooten, your last 2 have been poor after that 40. And Mr. Consistent Rodwell, last 3 rounds have been 25, 27, 26. Maybe you're still recovering from the man flu, not sure, but you're better than that, Sean. For the Goblins, Fran Stone, you've only had the 1 counted score. Your last 3 have been 27, 26 and 29. And Arthur McPhee, 29 and 27. Something needed there. Goblins should see the return of Andrew Whitson. He's been one of their most consistent players this year. Bowman, LeBron, Timu, Prime, and Grant Peacock didn't play last week, so he should return. Not sure what happened. He had the grudge match against Mr. Winchelsea. Didn't play. Not sure what occurred there. But the Bullies' most consistent players have been Choco, Richard West, Stu Anderson and Ross Moreland, while the Goblins' consistent scorers have been Steve Smith, as I said, Andrew Whitson, Belly and David Milne and Johnny Dixon. This is a grudge of Murray Wiley versus Cooper McMurrich, Yarny and Ross Moreland against Phil Stevens and Johnny Wooten, Choco Royal against John Bowman, a little bit of management committee type banter there. And then neighbours Rob Casey and Arthur McPhee. So I don't know if they'll walk over hand in hand on Saturday from across the road, but yes, it's going to be an interesting game.
Jeez, it was good to see Phil Stevens back out on course on Saturday, just in his cart. Just took it a bit easy.
Yes, the back's sort of coming good. He did eagle the 9th hole, which sort of gave him a half reasonable score on Saturday. But yeah, they'd be wanting him back firing big on Saturday.
Okay. All right, the next match, Matty, we've got for discussion is the Hookers and the Peakers. This is right around that bottom end of the 4. There's a lot going on here.
Hookers 5th and the Peakers 3rd. It's an exciting match and a lot to play for both. The Peakers would go in favourites. They would love to see Ange Foot on the course. It'd be nice if she rolled in at some stage. The Peakers have actually been one of the more consistent scoring teams, and then Jeanette Johnson and Pete DeFazio have had their score count every week.
And hasn't Pete wanted to talk to you about it? So.
I know. Peter, I hope my makeup's okay this week for the video. Thought I was a bit pasty.
Pale, yeah.
I
think he's...
Don't know, not sure what he thinks. Maybe he's looking too close and zooming on me too much. Just keep that Viagra in your pants, Pete. While Lloydie Shepherd, Rim and Flea have had theirs counted 4 times, every player's actually contributed twice.
Do you think Lloyd Shepherd needs a nickname to go with Rim and Flea?
Shep.
We'll come up with something better.
Yeah, as I said, all players in their team have contributed at least twice to their team scoring, except for Alan Kerry. You haven't quite reached twice yet, Alan. Hookers. Julie Milne has scored every week. Gee, she's consistent, isn't she?
She is.
While Nina, Dave Byrne and Dino have contributed 4 times. The Hookers would love some form of contribution from Paul Marnie. Looks like your golf is as good as your punting, and that is shocking. You've had 27, didn't show, 28, 29, 22.
Captain in waiting.
Yep, big time. Jim Pike.
We might get him an armband.
Yeah, the captain, but yes, maybe that could be there, and that might put him into some inspiration to actually put something in. Jimmy Pike, 31, 30, 25. Come on, Jimmy, you're better than that. Belitho, after your amazing 39 points, you strutted around the club like a peacock about how good you are, and look at you now, 25, 26, 28. Mark Wilkins, 28 and 26. I guess maybe 15 clubs you do need. You must have used that extra one. Then we have the little banter, Jeanette versus Nina, Rim O'Keefe against Leroy and Dino, Dale Pollock against the big strong plumber McNeil. Not sure what happened, but Mickey didn't play Saturday.
Oh no.
Apparently working on baby number 8. Peakers are going for 4 wins in a row, and it's hard to see them being beaten again.
Oh, wow.
Leroy will be off me now, seeing I've ticked against his team. But Lee, about time you showed some heart and put something in for your team. Try and inspire them to greatness.
Have we got to tip in for a TV or something for the McNeils?
They do need something.
They need some other form of entertainment.
But if you're good at it, you're good at it.
All right. Now another really important match all of a sudden is the Pirates and the Crusaders, Matty. The loser here will just get, not cut adrift, but again getting close.
Yeah, danger game, as you said, for both. A loss here could see them lose touch with the top 4, but both teams coming off losses. Both teams have talented players, and it will be who puts it together on the day will be victorious. You reckon that's true?
Of every sporting contest ever. That's the worst cliche you've ever uttered here.
From a scoring perspective, the Crusaders have scored 2 more points over the course of the season so far, but have won 2 games. Crusaders, Hilly, Xavier, Dado and Shawcross have scored every week, while the Gibbs has only missed once. We need something from Helen Poe, Noel Pike, John Rowe, Cole Isbell. Cole, 30, 27, 29, 29, doesn't cut it. And Mr. Lemonade. He needs to at least stay on course for the duration of the round. For the Pirates, McCorkle, Steve Gill have been relied on every week. Jeff Daniel, you have had all your scores count, but it doesn't mean when they count at 27. So that's a bit of a Clayton's there for you. But the Pirates need something from Sue Gregory, 26, 29 and 27. Johnny Poe, your game has fallen off a cliff from a great start. Your last 3 have been 19, 29, 20. Manny Golfus, 29, 25, 25.
It's hardly worth keeping the pro shop open for them.
Yeah, and even the beautiful man Justin McGrath can't escape mediocrity. 29 and 24 the last 2 weeks. If the Pirates are to win, they need a lift from the whole team. Otherwise, their season is sailing away.
Oh, I like what you did there. Very, very sharp. All right, at the other end of the ladder, Matty, this is the most marquee matchup we've had this year so far. It's 1v2, Warriors and Tornadoes.
Match of the season so far. Only 5 points separate them from a scoring perspective, and 1.82% between them. Both have won their last 2, and they are in inspiring form. The Tornadoes have been spreading the load, with the majority of players contributing scores each week, except for Yvonne Casey. You did it the first week and nothing the last 4. And Barry Marbles, nothing last week. While the Warriors need some contributing scores from Shirley Bell. Shirley, you had 30 on Saturday, which was a great effort. But
fantastic effort, Shirley.
When you are in a team that is as strong as this, 31 doesn't cut it. And it didn't count last week.
I take that back. She's on fire.
31 is great for her, I'll give her that, but it's not good enough for her team. If she wants to be an influence in the team, she needs to get up into the mid-30s, not the lows. Low 30s was good 3 years ago, or if you play for the Goblins, but not this year. But you need to raise another level. Another one who's not good enough, who's been in all Portarlington teams the last 2 years, and he's on the precipice of being in the PP, and that's Ian Flanders. 34, 23, 28, 31, 30. Last 2 weeks you've come into the pro shop and skiting about how you got into the 30s. Well, that doesn't matter anymore, Ian. You've got to be in the 36s and the 34s and the 38s. Doesn't cut it anymore in this team. You're always good in a weak team like previous years. Now you're in a good team. You're just that little fish in this team, so lift your game. Now, there could be a big inclusion this week, not sure. Rick Edmondson, been over in Perth.
Yeah.
As we can see by this video, went and played at Joondalup, par 3. He's just the swing that Jen sent through. Not sure why she was videoing from behind, but anyway, it's not the greatest of videos. But anyway, thanks for that, Jen. So Rick, not sure if he's back or whether he's going to come back and then go up to Toke like he does. Whether he's too tight to pay for a fill-in. His Saints won on the weekend, so he could be in a good mood. Matt Davies, needs something from you. 34 last week was adequate, but let's see you play to your handicap. There could be a couple of big guns missing that I know, Hazy.
Oh, really?
Boxhead,
Oh,
Stewie Madden.
he's
He's
been
away.
Good. He's been good.
He has been good, and he's organised. He's paid for a fill-in,
Yeah.
so he has got a replacement.
Okay.
Biggest one missing could be, or is, the milkman
Oh,
from the Warriors, Lorna, after 38, going on a golf trip to Horsham for the weekend,
jeez.
leaving at 7:30 a.m. Friday morning, and I'm tipping he won't be able to talk by 11 a.m. Friday morning. Not sure if he's organising a fill-in or whether he's too much of a tight ass to pay for Feed Me Ballerine, but yes, he will be missing as well. So
And you do need to organise those fill-ins, don't you?
yeah, so probably really important this weekend that we have said fill-ins need to be given to me by Tuesday, because we actually don't do the changes. We have to get the third party who does all the changes in the back end of the system. So I did have Ange Foot on Saturday morning ring me and see if I could get a fill-in for her just for Saturday, but a bit too late there, Ange. So if you are needing a fill-in, try and get onto it early this week if you definitely know you are not playing. $20 it'll cost you, with the proceeds going to Feed Me Ballerine, and if the player who is selected for you does have a counting score, it's an additional 10. But very important that you get that to me early this week so we can actually get that off to Premier League headquarters for them to do the changes.
I do appreciate the video contributions from around the course. They're going nicely. You can feed them into Maddie or myself, but they're going well. Big thanks to Flea for putting his heart and soul into these videos, but especially this week to the king of the Jamesies, Jamesy himself. Thanks for having a bit of fun with us. You'll be hearing from my lawyers.
So we had our Travis Matthew winner,
Oh yes, sorry to
David Milne. We had our Peakers win the Callaway golf balls, and our Weakers water team to this week was the Pirates, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, 255.
I couldn't even get a ball with
No.
23.
Do you realise the Goblins would have beaten 4 teams last week with their 273 if they'd drawn them?
But they only played the Peakers and got beaten.
Yeah, I know.
Last, Matty, last.
Yeah,
The
I
fearless
know.
predictions.
I've still got faith. They've got too many good players not to lift.
All right, thanks everyone. Matty, appreciate your time, and we'll catch you again next week on the Neville Richards Premier League show.
Thanks, Hazy. Hope your head and legs are okay.
I'll be right.
Yeah, good on you.